Hey, Jake, it's Casper from Silver Tiger Media. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Excellent. Thank you, mate. It's great to speak with you. Thank you very much for your time.
Oh, no, thank you. I appreciate it.
Pleasure indeed. Firstly, congratulations on Juggernaut Alpha and Juggernaut Omega. Killer stuff. How long have these albums been in the works?
Thank you. Well, that's a pretty good question because when we first started playing in Periphery, all of us, Misha had been working on some iteration of a Juggernaut concept album, and there's been a lot of material that's kind of like cycled in and out of what was going to make it. And what ended up happening is when we did Periphery 2 and then the subsequent Clear EP, we realized that we write really well together, and it would be cool to see what we came up with as a band. And we also were kind of getting tired of the stuff that was going to go on this concept record, not because it was bad, but just because we've been listening to various versions of it, and we just wanted to do something fresh for ourselves.
Sure.
So
brilliant. So it was a real evolution amongst the band.
Yeah, it's been going on since, Icarus Lives was supposed to be on Juggernaut, and that ended up being on the first album, and there's a bunch of other ideas and stuff that just never made it. So it's mostly just stuff that we've written in the past year or two, and that's what everybody got.
Brilliant stuff. Can you tell us a little bit about that superb video clip to Alpha?
Oh, the music video, you mean?
Yeah, yep.
Oh, well, we worked with Wes Richardson again, and he's been a close friend and collaborator for our videos for the last, including that one, 3 videos. And sorry, my dog's playing with a toy. You might hear some weird noises in the background.
No, welcome to the party. That's fine.
But he came up with the concept on his own, and we liked what it was about. We didn't want to do something that was a video about the concept of Juggernaut, or at least that part of Juggernaut, the song Alpha, just because we were still sticking by the fact that we wanted everyone who bought the album to kind of be able to come to their own interpretation of what the story is about, and we thought that Wes's video treatment was something we thought was cool anyways, so it's kind of just like a one-off thing in terms of that, but we wanted to do something video gamey. I mean, that's the best I could describe it.
Yeah, look, I think you've come up with an entire video game concept in one clip. It's brilliant. Conversely, we've got Make Total Destroy. That looked like so much fun to make and really highlighted your skills as a group.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I think that was kind of one of the first videos where we were comfortable doing videos, because the ones prior to that, one was for Icarus Lives, and then the other one was for Jetpacks was Yes. And we were still kind of figuring out. I love those videos. I think they're great, and they're good snapshots of where we were at that point, and for that part of the job. But I think Big Total Destroy was when we started like kind of getting a feel for it.
Absolutely, beautifully put too. The recordings, I think it's fair to say, are very, very keenly anticipated. How has the response been since release?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
The recordings, the Juggernaut albums have been very keenly anticipated by many. How has the response been since release?
Oh, it's been great. I mean, it's kind of, since it's been about 2 years, almost 3 years, I guess, 2.5 years between Juggernaut and Periphery 2. It's been, kind of up in the air on what we should expect, so we had to manage our expectations, and they've been pretty much exceeded as far as the reception and what people expected out of the albums, and we're very happy with how it's been going, and I'm kind of excited to see what it's only been out for like 6 months at this point.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what the rest of the year holds, but we're also itching to start writing again. So it's just kind of funny how that works.
Indeed, we can't wait for the next release. But I must ask you, the decision to pursue drop C 6-string, 7 or 8-string, how does that decision come about? Are the tracks written that way, or do you rehearse them and refine?
Well, it's an interesting question because I guess when we're coming up with riffs, it's usually the basis of a song is based around a guitar riff. I guess it would depend on the guitar that riff is being played on. We're all collectors, and we all have various guitars that we play on regularly, and they're all set up differently. And 6, 7, and 8-string guitars are available to us. So there even have been times where we've been playing a riff on a 6-string, but then one of us or the individual is just like, you know what, I wonder what this sounds like on a different guitar. And that's how things can change too. So it really is just up to the riff and how it sounds, how it's best presented on a specific instrument. So that's kind of how we determine what tuning it's going to be in.
Absolutely. And look, obviously your Avania's JBM 100 is just the king of all guitars.
Thanks.
It's such a beautiful axe. Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm very, very happy with how it came out and how Ivan is. They take me seriously as a musician, seriously enough to be able to develop my own model with them, and I love the way it looks. I love the way it plays.
Indeed, a beautiful looking guitar, and only just from the look, let alone how it plays. I'm sure it plays well. A good friend of mine, an avid 7 and 8-string devotee in metal, is always in awe of your performances anyway. But is it difficult initially to perform live with an 8-string that's got a fretboard like a surfboard?
Yeah, it is, especially for me more so than I'd say most people who have normal sized hands. I have pretty small hands for a guitar player, especially playing extended range instruments. Yeah. So it is really challenging. I have to make sure I stretch and I warm up a lot, and it's a challenge, but it's makes it worth it when I actually do nail the parts live or whatever it is. But yeah, it's even for people with regular sized hands, it's a bit cumbersome.
I love it, regular size hands. The resulting sound, though, is absolutely and thoroughly killer. Now, big question, would you describe Gent as a style of progressive metal or a genre?
Well, I think it's kind of taken on its own personality, I suppose. I have a hard time identifying with it. Some guys in the band do, some guys in the band don't. But it's just... I guess it's kind of one of those things like grunge or even metal. Like, well, it's just I guess it's just a good moniker for, or I guess it's just an existing moniker. I don't know if I would have called it Gent and spelled it with a D and confused everyone, but it's just another way for people to categorize and neatly organize their favorite or not so favorite style of the music. So
absolutely.
I'd say it's more of it's kind of taking on a life of its own, and I feel like there's kind of a lifestyle associated with it at this point. It's because of how popular it's gotten, and really it's kind of like the whole. I guess it finds its strongest aspect by being like one of those DIY concepts where you get all your own recording gear and you record your own stuff on your own computer and you kind of go for a specific sound, and so I guess that's how I describe it, as more of like a lifestyle. Beautifully
put too. Excuse me. Either way, I think the sound it produces in a genre I like to call awesome. Now,
I think there's a lot of... Go ahead.
Sorry for the delay there. I don't mean to speak over you. Misha would have been described by many as a visionary. What's he like to work with?
Oh, he's great. I think like one of the reasons why I took to this band when I joined in like 2006, 2007.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest reasons I wanted to join the band is because me and him have great writing chemistry together, and there's just no pressure, and it's always been like if he writes something and I hear it, I'm like, damn, that's sick, and I get inspired, and then if I write something, he'll say the same thing, and he'll be inspired, and it's just kind of this like nice, this effortless way to come up with music that we love, and it's a lot of fun to write with him. And what's even better is that our results are so quick. Like me and him can, I guess some of the best songs we've written together have come together in less than 6 hours. So
wow,
it's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's kind of one of those things that you just got to get lucky finding that person that you write well with.
Indeed. And look, we've got a massive tour schedule coming up. We're fortunate enough to see you come back to Australia, so thank you very much for that. Now, you toured here years ago.
I'm excited. I love Australia.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful stuff. You toured here years ago with our good pal Greg Puciato and the Dillinger Escape Plan. How was the reception back then in Australia for you?
Oh, I'm sorry. Could you repeat the last part of the question?
How was the reception in Australia back then for you?
Oh, yeah, that's wow, great questions today. I feel like these are things that like I've always thought about. The reception for us when that was the first time we ever came to Australia, and we were not a very good live band, and we don't really have a look, but we just didn't know how to present ourselves in a way that was engaging, and it was very difficult to kind of reach the audience that we were playing to, because Dillinger is just one of those bands who've been doing it for long enough to where they have everything that they do finely tuned, and they're mind-blowing live. So to kind of it was kind of like we were the worst band ever and they were the best band ever, and we were on tour together. So it's just kind of like a very, very interesting thing to have happen to us, because we try to be very self-aware and not kind of just roll on our hype or just expect people to like us. We try to really be cognizant of what's going on with us live and as a band and how we're being perceived. So upon reflection after that tour, it was kind of a wake-up call. It's kind of like, okay, you're at this level, and it's not a very high level. You're going to have to do a lot of work. And we all thought this, and we all agreed, and it was just like we were very grateful that they would take such an inexperienced band to Australia, which is pretty difficult to get to for a lot of bands.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It was great. And they're great people to tour with, and they're actually it's funny that you brought them up, because I actually saw them in Washington D.C. last night. I went and visited
brilliant.
them because we share crew members, and it's just they're good friends. But yeah, I'm glad that we got that experience, because I don't know how when the next moment of growth would have been had we not toured with them.
Wow.
Roland, this is just your 2-minute wrap-up.
Terrific, thank you. And look, we're at the other polar extreme now, because your comeback is very, very keenly anticipated. We're extremely excited to see you back. And I can't wait to catch up with you in Melbourne, quite frankly, and I look forward to that.
Yeah, me too.
And you have so much recent material. Can we expect a mix of tracks from all of your albums, or are we concentrating on Juggernaut?
I think there'll be a heavy Juggernaut set. We obviously want to play some of the hits, as you might call them, even though they're not hits. But yeah, we'll have a more Juggernaut-oriented set, because I think the fans want to hear the new stuff first and foremost. But there will be some older stuff sprinkled in there.
Wonderful. That'll be terrific, and we keenly anticipate your arrival at the end of October. Jake, thank you so much for your time today. It's an absolute treat to talk to you, and I look forward to catching up with you.
Awesome. Thank you for your time.
Tremendous pleasure indeed. Travel safely, my friend.
Okay. Take it easy.